Ooh, you're getting so festive. I love it. Hi everyone, I'm David, one of the beauty directors here at Sephora, and I'm joined by my beautiful model today, Betty Ann. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me today. This is gonna be a really fun video. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
So today's video, what we're gonna be doing is creating the perfect holiday party look. So we're gonna really focus here on complexion and lips, as you can see, but we're gonna have touches of color around the face. It's overall a beautiful balanced look, so let's jump right in so you can see exactly how to create this look. Okay, so I've got Betty Ann's skin brought down to bare nothing but skincare. She's prepped, she's ready to go. And like I said earlier, this is a lip and complexion focused look. So we're gonna start off with the complexion. So for the foundation, I'm using the Sephora Collection Best Skin Ever in the shade 23Y, Y for yellow undertone or warmer undertones. Absolutely love this stuff. So I personally like to squeeze a little bit of it out onto my hands to use as a palette. So I'm gonna be applying this with the Sephora Collection Pro Brush number 47. And when I do foundation, I like to start in the center of the face. This is most often where we need it. And I like to apply with a brush because it does lay a significant amount down without wasting any of the product. Now I chose this particular foundation because I wanted Betty Ann's skin to be perfect and gorgeous, but I also wanted it to look like skin. And this foundation in particular has a really great buildability. So it can go from really sheer, where you don't need a lot of foundation, to a much more medium coverage. And I like that because it gives you a lot of power to choose where you're gonna add it and where you don't need it. So your skin still shines through. And just working from the center out, it's applying really beautifully and it's melting onto your skin. Really gorgeous, actually. And I like to go around and build slowly. I'm very much a believer that when it comes to makeup, add a little bit, build it, and see how much you need. Don't go in pouring foundation on your face, because a lot of times you don't need that much and it ends up just looking cakey. So how does this feel on your skin so far, Betty Ann?
I love it. It's very light.
Lightweight, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a hydration built into this naturally. So it's really good for somebody who's gonna be wearing their makeup for a long period of time, because you know it's not gonna dry your skin down. It's actually gonna keep that skin hydrated and keep that nice glow so your skin looks fresh and dewy. Now, what I would say when you're looking for colors and you're choosing colors, always remember, like I said, you wanna match to, especially if you're wearing a top like this where your décolleté and your shoulders are showing, you wanna make sure that the skin here matches here. So her face was a little bit darker, probably because the sun, it's, sun hitting here. So you do wanna make sure that when you set this, you add a little bronzer to the face or something just to sort of match that skin tone back. But overall, I'm feeling really good about the coverage of this. Your skin looks really beautiful and glowy. I feel like we've got a nice sheer to light coverage, which is about all Betty Ann really needed, to be honest. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to concealer. Now, if you've seen any of my videos on sort of working with the under eye area, you know this can be a really tricky area to deal with, to address things like dark circles or shadows or anything like that. I have a formula I like to use. It's called Correct, Conceal, and Brighten. So it sounds like a lot of steps, but it's really easy. It requires less product and it actually has a more impactful result. So I'm gonna start by using Hourglass Vanish Concealer. Now I have two shades here. I am using, for the color corrector, the shade is Topaz, and that's that peachier shade. And then for her actual skin concealer shade, I'm using the shade Apricot. Within the assortment of shades, they've incorporated a corrector shade. There's actually 2 or 3 of them in there. So I'm gonna be using that, and this one's quite peachy, and as you know, color correction, you want a little bit of peachy for any darkness under the eye. Now, Betty Ann has very little bit of darkness, but I wanna warm it up beforehand so that I don't need as much actual concealer. The less product, the less creasing, the less cakiness. Overall, it's just a better way to approach that under eye area. Now I'm using just a little bit. Notice I'm not applying it directly to her under eye, just because I don't want to use a lot of product. I want this to be minimum and with most impact. So I'm gonna start by using a smaller brush. This is actually a Sephora collection brush number 13, which is a shadow brush, but these are synthetic bristles. So technically these are very versatile and you can use them for anything. I'm gonna start with that color correcting shade. And I like this brush because it's very narrow and I can actually get in. And when you're color correcting, you're looking for where to go. So I just want it in the areas in here where I can see there's just a little bit of that sort of bluish tone. And that's really common when it gets in that under eye area because it's very thin skin. And I'm just gonna tap it through, let it blend out a little. And remember, this doesn't need to match your skin. This goes under. It's a very light layer that warms it up, and that's it. But it already starts to brighten that under eye. Now with that same brush, I can then take the actual color that's her real shade, it's more her skin tone, and then I can apply that as I would a concealer. And I like to use a tapping motion more than a sweeping. And then with the Sephora collection actual concealer brush, the number Pro 71, which looks like a little finger, I just tap it down. And this blends it out as if you were using your finger. And what's really great about this concealer actually is that the formula itself uses these microspheres of powder, so they scatter light in random directions. So that actually creates like a diffused effect. So you blur the under eye area, which is basically like putting a filter on your eye, which we all want all the time, right? I want to live with a permanent filter on my face. So any makeup that actually does that, I'm like, all right, you've won the award for me. This looks really, really good. Okay, so we did the correction and the concealing. Now we're gonna do a little brightening. Of course, I'm gonna go to one of my favorites. This is YSL Touche Éclat All Over Brightening Concealer Pen. Honestly, I really love this stuff. I think a lot of people, when they first thought to use it, thought it was more of a concealer, and it's really not. It's really a brightener. It's a highlighter. Technically, it's a matte highlighter. They do have a concealer version, but the original version is a matte highlighter, and that's really useful if you want to just add light into an area without a lot of shimmer or anything like that, which is perfect for the under eye. So I continue to use this small brush because when I'm applying these products, I want to use a little bit and I want to use them exactly where I want them. So this one I'm using the shade 2, which is a bit of a brighter shade because I want to add a little bit more light. And what I'm looking for here is these areas where it's not actually an under eye darkness. We can get a little shadowing as we get older. We all have it. I have it too. And believe me, I use this trick every single time I'm on camera. You apply just a little bit of the product into those areas where there's a little bit of shadow being cast. Make it a little bit more perfect, and then let her natural beauty shine through. Little trick with this that you can do that I always do. If you have any laugh lines, well, Betty Ann's, yours are great. I get them bad because I'm an Italian and I laugh like a crazy person. But here's what you do. Take a little bit of that, apply it here and here. It does the same thing. It's going to bring that area forward and it's going to help remove some of those shadows. And it really just sort of blends in and it just adds a little touch of light. Touche Éclat, touch of light. It's exactly what it's doing. And we really got a gorgeous complexion going here. So now that I've got all of the liquid products on the complexion, I do want to add a setting powder. This is for a party. So I'm just going to throw on some Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, my go-to. I always keep it in the travel size because it's smaller and it's easier. But I'm going to throw that on and then we're going to get right back into getting this party look going. Right, so you can see once the powder is on, the complexion looks a lot more natural. The color kind of really matches in really nicely once you take away that shine. We're gonna move on to eyes now, but I was just curious, Betty Ann, like for you, like what are some of the things that you do to celebrate the holidays with family or friends or something?
Well, I usually host, so my family comes over and we have tamales and
Ooh. Where's my invitation?
All the traditional.
Now, do you glam up when you host?
I try to look presentable, so I don't know if I glam up. I like to use natural tones.
Okay.
But I do like to look festive.
Well, that's all I needed to hear, because actually the eye look we're gonna do is very natural tone. We're gonna be using the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette, which is a neutral palette, as you can see. Probably something you're really comfortable, right? Like, this is very in your zone. And this is a really cool, perfect palette for a holiday party look, because it has a really cool addition, which is these two shades right here are actually cream eyeshadows. So they really help you build an eyeshadow look with quite a bit of intensity without a lot of product. Plus, when you're working with creams, there's no fallout, so you don't have to worry about messing up your whole beautiful complexion that you just did. So I'm gonna start by tapping into this lighter cream tone here. It's a very soft mid brown tone. It looks a little bit darker when it's in the palette itself, but you'll see when it goes on. And I'm gonna be using a Sephora Collection Pro Shadow Brush number 14. I'm gonna have you close for me. And what I'm doing with this is I'm gonna be using this as the base for a really soft, natural, smoky eye. So I'm just tapping this over the lid from lash line up to about mid eye, sort of like the crease zone. Really, you just want this to create a soft halo of warmth. That's how I like to think of it. And it really blends out rather beautifully. And because this is more of a lip complexion focus, we're gonna be adding some blush and some highlighter. When it comes to creating a look like this, it's all about balance. So it's not about throwing everything you can at every feature on the face. It's about a little touch on each of the features and then allowing one of them to be a little bit bolder. In this case, it'll be the lip. Okay, so now I'm gonna move into this sort of mid-tone shade right here. Now, what's really fun about this actual palette is that there's quite a few really reflective, sort of shimmery, glittery shades, a whole bunch of buttery mattes, and then there's some satiny tones in here, and that's exactly what this one is. It's not quite matte, it's not quite shimmer, it's sort of in between the two, and I think it's gonna make a really great over halo kind of effect on that cream shadow we laid down. So just out of curiosity, Betty Ann, when you do host, what is usually sort of like the vibe? Is it a very party vibe, or is it more like a seated dinner, or is it like music and festival and kind of like?
It's all of the above.
Oh, I like that. Good, good. So you get the full party experience when you come to Betty Ann's house, right?
Yes.
I love that. As the holidays should be, I say.
Right.
So I'm just laying this shadow right on top of that cream, and it's gonna set that as well. And then I'm just lightly blending it out, just so there's no real lines or anything. It's just a really soft, beautiful painterly approach to makeup. It's really just giving more of an idea of a color, which is what I like, because then it's not taking focus on the face. So I'm gonna go into a little bit of this champagne tone here, just for a little bit of the brow area and a little in the inner corner, and then we're gonna go underneath. I'm gonna switch brushes. I'm gonna go to a smaller brush for this. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that and just gently apply it right here at the high point of the brow and let it melt into that smoky, warm brown tone. And this is gonna bring a little bit of lift and elevation to the brow. And when light hits it, it'll add a little pop, little glow, make the skin look nice and glowy. And it'll structure up the eye a little bit. And then I like to add a little bit on the inner corner. Inner corner highlight really opens the eye up a lot. So when you're having a conversation with somebody over your festive holiday dining table, they can't stop looking at your mesmerizing eyes. Okay, so now that we've got the top, I'm really happy with this. It's soft, it's elegant, it's beautiful, perfect for holidays. I'm gonna take a little bit of that cream again, and now we're gonna do a little bit underneath. It really makes the effect that much more beautiful. So I'm gonna have you look up And don't be scared. I feel like every time I do a smoky eye on somebody, they get nervous about the under eye. Do you get nervous about that too?
A little bit.
So many people do. I could see it in you. You were like, oh my God, not underneath. No, I'm telling you. But if it's done right and with the right products, it actually makes the eyes look bigger, which is the thing that a lot of people don't realize is when you stop the smoky eye only on top, you almost cut the size of your eye that you can create in half. Already you can see such definition, and that was just with a light amount of the initial cream, which already it's really looking great. I'm gonna go back into that same tone that I used above. This is not a hard eye look to create. It's really simple, really easy. You're basically just creating a wash of color around the eye. And man, does it just look so beautiful on you. Ooh, you're getting so festive. I love it. All right, so we're gonna move on now to some eyeliner. I don't want anything harsh or dark or black or anything graphic. What I'm actually gonna be using is from Makeup Forever, and this is the Aqua Resist Color Pencil Eyeliner. And these are really great waterproof, and then these are waterproof. So I'm gonna have you start by looking up, and this is gonna go into the waterline area, which it's great for because like I said, it's called Aqua Resist because it's waterproof. A lot of people don't think to use shades like this. They tend to go for like more of a brown or a black, but it's actually really fun to use these mid-tone shades because they don't really steal focus, but they surprisingly add a lot of interest to your makeup look. So to finally finish off the eyes, of course, it's really gonna come down to your mascara. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Dark Star Mascara. It's a bit of a tongue twister. And it's a great mascara for adding volume, length, definition, really giving you that party lash that we're looking for. And I'm just gonna start by applying a nice couple coats of the mascara and kind of start with a less coated brush and build your lashes from there. And that's gonna give you that really nice, natural looking, yet separated, volumed, definition, all that length you want without getting like spider lashes. And I do wait a second there, as you noticed, in between some of the coats. You want that mascara to dry for a moment. And then when you build the next coat, it's gonna go on top of it instead of sort of smushing the lashes together to clump. Now that they're defined, they're more likely to stay separated upon each coat that you apply. I'm gonna do a little bit underneath. I think it's nice to have a little bit down on the bottom, give you a little bit of like a doll effect. So look at the difference you have once you add that mascara. It really brings the definition in between the eyes, and that soft smokiness just really enhances Betty Ann's eye so beautifully. And final coat. Really beautiful. We're gonna be moving on to the lips. And like I said earlier, this is a bit of a lip focused look. So I'm gonna start by applying a lip liner. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is Lip Cheat Lip Liner. This is a great lip liner if you like to go a little bit over the lip and a little bit of extra volume if you can. I really love this because the formula is made in a way that it actually adds a little bit, just like a micro amount of actual volume. So if you do draw over the lip line, it doesn't look so fake. It actually cheats the lip, hence the name Lip Cheat, which is what I love about it. And the shade I'm using is called Super Size Me. I love it. Love it! So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in the center. So I'm gonna have you just relax for a second. And I'm gonna do a really soft lip here. This is not a harsh lip kind of a look. And the color is like a dark rose, slightly brownish, which I think is a great shade for pretty much anyone. And because of the fact that I'm gonna be applying a blush as well, I didn't want there to be competing colors on the face. So I didn't want the lip to compete with any blush. Just really getting a nice, soft lip line down. So for the lipstick, I'm gonna be using the Christian Dior, and this is the Rouge Dior lip, and this is in the shade called Saint Germain. It's a beautiful shade, complements this really well, sticking to that sort of slightly deeper, rosy brown tone. I'm gonna apply this with a brush because that's just my personal preference, but of course this is a bullet and you can apply it direct from the bullet if you'd like to, but old habits die hard when you're a professional artist. You use brushes. So I'm gonna start by applying this, and this has a really nice glow to it as well. So there's a little bit of hydration in here. So it gives your lip a little bit more dimension so it's not super matte and flat. Really versatile shade here. So now that the eyes and the lips are done, we can balance off the rest of the complexion and apply a quick touch of highlighter and blush. So for highlighter, I'm gonna be using the WESTMAN Atelier. This is the lit up highlighting stick. I'm using it in the shade Nectar, which is a sort of apricot-y kind of tone. Don't be fooled, this is really, really wearable, very soft. This is the kind of product I do like to apply with my fingers because the heat of your fingers are actually gonna warm up the product and allow it to apply better. And I just like to tap it into place. I like it in the high points of the cheek. And this is the kind of highlighter that is not really overly glittery or shimmery. It really just makes it look like your skin is super hydrated, plumped, and glowing. Like you just went and had a facial type of effect. And that's my personal preference when it comes to highlighters, is really the kind that just make the skin look like it's naturally glowing. I'll also sometimes do a little bit down the center of the nose, just a little bit. This is party makeup, so don't forget you're gonna be talking, you're gonna be, hanging out with your friends, maybe doing a little dancing. You're not gonna wanna overly do any highlighter because more than likely, if it's a good party, you're gonna work up a little sweat. So you don't need to go crazy. I think it's best applied really on the high points of the cheek up here, just so as you're moving and you catch the light and everyone's like, oh, she got her skin in check, baby, I love that. Okay, so the final touch, a little bit of blush. Like I said, the balance of this look is really about a touch of makeup in each of the features, really more of the focus here on the lip, but we still wanna add a little bit of color to the cheeks. So I'm gonna be using the LYS, and this is the Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. The shade is called Confident, and what I love about this is, it's very similar to that lip tone. It's a bit of like a mauve-y brown tone. I really love LYS's formula. They are cream blushes, but they're very easy to apply. You can use your fingers. Personally, when it comes to a cream blush, this is when I like to use a brush. Again, it just goes back to my training. I like to, when it comes to blush, always start about 2 fingers width away from the nose. That's a good first point of application. So if I start here and just start tapping, and then I can figure I can kind of lift if I want, and then bring it towards a little bit. But the most intensity is right here. Oh, that looks really beautiful on you. That's what's nice about cream blushes, is they look so natural. And I'll tell you, a little bit of this goes a very long way, very long. Sometimes what I like to do, depending on the shade you're using of a blush, if you're using like a red or a pink, then you can be a little bit more discerning, but with a really natural color like this, take a little bit, just what's left on the brush, across the nose, the forehead, and the chin. It just brings it all together and it just makes the complexion look really finished off, like you've got this nice flow of blood, you're feeling movement in the festivities. And look at that, the smile radiates when you put this blush on. Absolutely gorgeous. So I love it. I love that this look is balanced, it's beautiful, it's really soft, but it's still elegant. It's great for any event. And it looks like you, and that's what I really love, is your personality, and you still shine through, but you just look a little extra something, something. We love that. Okay, you ready for the big reveal?
I am.
Okay, so take a look. Tell me what you think.
Oh, wow. I love it.
Pretty, right?
Yes.
Soft, elegant, party-friendly.
Very natural.
And you're gonna be the belle of the ball. Absolutely. Oh, this was so much fun.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. All right, everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope it inspired you to think about the glam you're gonna be creating for your holiday party looks and your family gatherings. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get new videos like this from us every single week. And don't forget in the comment section to leave us any of your favorite holiday family traditions you do. We love to hear these things. We love to share them. That's what the season's all about. And if you love this look, I'd love to see some love in the comment section for it. Until next time, everyone, take care. Take a moment to think about your holiday glam because I want to see you all sparkling this season. Take care, everyone. Bye. Ooh, you're getting so festive. I love it.